Hi, this is Robert with the Board of Games. If you're looking for answers on what games to get for this holiday season, look no further than this series of videos. Hi, I'm Robert.
And I'm Ferdinand.
And we're here to talk about some Evergreen games. So, Evergreen, if you don't know, are going to be games that are classic, kind of stood the test of time, games that no matter what, if you go to a gaming group, inevitably one of these games are probably going to be on the table, going to get played at some point, or have been played, or could get played side by side, two in the same night at any time. These are just games that are really solid games, proven that over time that these things are going to be really good and something that you're going to like.
Yep. And our first game is Splendor. And now this is a great family game, and it can be just played anywhere. It's a game about you're a gem collector and you're trying to buy gems, which allows you to buy more gems, and you're trying to appease these like royalty people so you can get more points. So essentially it's just a engine building game where you try to find the best way and most efficient way to get these cards.
But really, with Splendor, it's just like the mechanics are really make the game, because it's simple enough for people to play, and I always have a tough time of telling people, hey, what's this game about? But when they play it, you can see their face like, oh, that's what this does. That's how this thing works. And the expression on their face, and when they're done, it's like, oh, that's great. I'll take one of those. And I'm like, yeah, it's just really good. A little bit hard to explain, and definitely very light in the theme department, but just a solid game. So the next one we'll go over is going to be Ticket to Ride, and this one sold millions of copies all in America, all over the world, for a reason. Because trains, everybody loves trains, and Christmas time, people love trains even more, right? So, two things: Christmas, trains. It's going to be a good game. What you're taking turns, you're just playing some cards, taking turns building routes across America or across Europe. And I know you like the Europe, right?
Yes.
Yep. So across Europe, and it doesn't matter really which map. They're all very similar. There's a few other little variations on, depends on which map that you play. But they're all really solid games. Just a lot of fun, and it's very simple if I want to play with like my family. Like I actually played with my sister, who doesn't play a lot of games recently, and she loved it. She thought it was just a fantastic game. Yeah. So.
It's all about blocking people.
Yeah. Well, some people like to block, and like myself, I just mostly focus on what I think is going to generate the most amount of points. And so you don't really have to block. Some people do that, and it's a valid strategy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But other people, they're strictly focused on getting cards, and there's some bonuses that you can get that are really nice. But it's a very clean game. It's a lot of fun. And if you haven't played that before, and definitely it makes for a great gift. Like if you don't know for sure, they're picky, and you don't know, you can get this game. They're just going to like it. It's just a good game.
Yeah.
So,
and anyway, we're going to recommend just for the two, as you mentioned, the USA version map. Which is the first game, and there's the Europe map, which is that's slightly more different game, but I think it's about the same level. So there are expansions and different Ticket to Ride games, but those are the ones for our Evergreen list. I guess our next one's going to be King of Tokyo.
Well, we're kind of leaving America now and going to somewhere else, right? So, and if you're going to go to Tokyo, may as well be the king.
Yeah, the kaiju.
Yeah. And, unlike Ticket to Ride, the major mechanic in this one's dice rolling, right?
Yeah. So if you have people, your friends or family that love dice, this is like excellent game, especially those who love Yahtzee.
Sure. Yeah, because you get those re-rolls.
Yeah. So anyway, this game's your big Tokyo-sized monsters. You know how big they are. It's like skyscraper big. But essentially, you're rolling dice. You're trying to get either points or you're trying to get rid of all the monsters.
Right. Immediately, I know I get a lot of kids coming up, and mostly teens, that sort of thing. They'll come up and they look at these standees with the monsters on them. They're like, oh man, it's a cool monster game because you're fighting. And it is, and it's just a lot of monster fighting, a lot of dice rolling, and like, they got me. And there's some people that are out there that are trying to win by points, but
I know you gotta attack them.
I don't find it fun for me to win by points, because if I'm not knocking people out, of Tokyo by getting their life points down, then I don't know. That's not for me. But everybody plays their own way, but it's still fun. You can score by points, and it has some cool special abilities. You can pump them up. Nothing better than having a monster with 2 heads, and then a monster with 2 tails, and then a monster that has a baby.
Oh.
So I mean, it's just so good. So there's lots of fun things with that. That's a cool little nugget, something that you can definitely give some family, have a good time with. So, and code names. Oh my gosh, where do you start with code names? Well, it starts with, it's kind of like a password sort of game, and this came out huge, came out the gate, just like everybody's playing this thing. It's a team game, so you got 2 different teams of spies, and you got a spy master for each one of those teams, and what happens is you have to give clues to your team in hopes that they're going to get it and figure out what you're trying to tell them. But the thing is, you can't tell them anything but one word. So there's 2 versions of this game. One is pictures and one is words. So if you give if you point to a picture and it has something with wings on it, or excuse me, you don't point, but if you say wings and there's a couple of pictures that have wings on them, they're going to probably choose those ones. But if they guess one that's an assassin, your team immediately loses. Or if you get one and it's on the other person's team, then the other person gets credit for that, and your team doesn't get credit. So you want to be very careful about what clues you give, so you don't give clues to the other team, and you don't lose the game by giving a clue that leads them to the assassin.
So, I mean, it's a great game, especially for the holiday season, because you're going to have parties. Like, just bring this to parties, and then this is a great game, and then you can buy that game for their Christmas.
And for any of those who have been to a board games event before, you'll see the game played like practically every single event. Why? It's because it's so popular, so common. People can pick it up just like that, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do have to mention there are 2 versions. We got the original Codenames, which is just words, and we got the recently released Codenames Pictures, and that's with pictures. I mean, it's a little different, but it's still basically the same game.
Right.
And our last game we're going to mention is Carcassonne, and yeah, so this is a game about tile laying, and you're trying to control areas and score points.
Yeah, there's different tiles, and what's neat is when you get this thing out of the box and you start pulling out these tiles, and you're like, hey, where's the board? And then all of a sudden the tiles get put out there, and the tiles create this crazy board that you've never seen before. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then you have to choose where to put your pieces on these board, or if even to put a piece out at all. So, and those are your decisions. And for every tile, you're making decisions. Do I play a piece? Do I not play a piece? Is this going to score more? Do I want to put a guy in a city? Because whenever you put a guy in a city, you get points for that. So, you're just trying to figure out, hey, what's the best decisions? And with this to make on this thing that's a board, but it's not a board, and there's tiles. It's a great game, and it's very easy for people to play, and it's very fun because you can choose where these things are going to go, and you have to make that decision every time.
And I do want to point out that there's many different implementations and expansions. Sure. We do recommend you just getting the blue box, the original.
Well, get started with that, and then from that, there's a lot of different flavors that you can choose. I even know that now there is a version for children that's called My First Carcassonne, and that's a game that you if you like the base game and you've tried it and you have a good time, consider getting the kids version for the kids, so that way it's something that you already enjoy. You can teach it to them, and it still has the same basic mechanics of Carcassonne, only it's just fit for children that are younger. So, but they're all very solid games. All the versions are very solid. Choose your flavor, if you will. Like, okay, yeah, you're going to try vanilla. Okay, I do like ice cream, but there's chocolate and strawberry and all those other stuff if you want to try it later. So.
Or sprinkles.
Yeah, and cherries and yogurt.
Oh, anyway, okay. Just to sum up everything else, so we mentioned Splendor, Ticket to Ride USA and Europe, King of Tokyo, Codenames, and Carcassonne. So I hope that we have given you some ideas for your holiday shopping, list, and that we hope that you have a safe holiday season.
So I just wanted to remind everyone that any of the games that we discussed in this series of games, you can purchase by going to one of our events and attending one of our events. We'll have all of these games in stock there. Or alternatively, if you wanted to buy it online, if you just want to send us an email, you can do that by sending an email to purchasing@boardofgames.com, and just simply put the games you want to request there, and we'll arrange to have those games delivered to you.